Hey everybody, welcome to Nerdarchy, for nerds by nerds. I'm Nerdarchist Ted, and this is part 2 of our live chat today. You guys obviously know Dave, and with us is Sarah and Andreas from the Animalia. Did I say that correct?
Oh no, it's Atlas Animalia.
Atlas Animalia. Okay.
Yep.
So we had some bit of a technical difficulty there, and I do apologize for those who have been kind of watching and following along. We kind of stopped mid conversation.
Yeah, no, I would say got killed mid conversation. But yes, we were back, and so basically, we were talking about the Kickstarter you guys are running right now. It's already funded. If you need more monsters for your game, this is a good place to get them. And it's basically you guys are doing variations on existing monsters for the most part. Is it right? There's nothing unique in there. I mean, they're all unique, but
it's rehashing old ideas. Yeah, so there's no new monster. We're not creating new monsters. We're completely making variants on existing monsters, which is essentially creating something new out of something old.
No, I mean, and if you look at the Kickstarter page, I mean, you've already got several dozen new options, right? Is that what I'm saying here?
Oh yeah.
So like the list that's here, just which beasts are in the book. There's 20 there. You've already unlocked several others based off of how the thing is going so far. You've got you've got add-ons that can be done. You've got previous books that you've got that can be added on or built into the actual backer levels that you're looking at. Now, when I look at the Kickstarter page, you got this whole block here for owl bears, and it looks like this page here is built as a 5th edition stat block, but you can get it in your option of 5th edition or Pathfinder. Is that correct?
Yeah, so that would be doing a design mock-up of just like this is what it's going to look like when I go to print with, go to at least publishing the 5th edition version of the set. I have yet to build out like the Pathfinder version of it, where stat blocks would be or how they'll be laid out. I assume it'll be in a similar. But of course, all that stuff. Or special attack modifiers, special defense modifiers, all like fun stuff that we get in Pathfinder in terms of numbers.
So now, going into your baby books, the ones that you had released previous. Now, are those just conceptually smaller versions, or do those actually have stat blocks and stuff as well?
There's no stat blocks in that season. Okay. That's something I'm just continuing in terms of the design of these products or this product line. Is that, or something I'm trying to do in general, is just create more books that are usable for everyone. And then in terms of those who want system-specific stuff, that will create those on the side. For the Baby Bestiary, we haven't created any like baby stats, and part of that just goes to a much more complicated design. It's not just the baby template, for Pathfinder or D&D or 3rd edition. It's a little more complicated.
Yeah, you would have to not only lower hit dice, but you'd have to lower stats and remove some abilities or mute some abilities based off of that. So I can understand that that's definitely would need to take a step back.
And also honestly, the D&D stats system, like the 10 strength, 8 strength.
Yeah,
it's not designed for lower level play per se. So when you start getting into children and babies, the ability system and how everything it's designed as doesn't scale well going down. It scales up really nicely because how many bonuses to AC and attack bonus, how many bonuses can I add up to my character? That scales up really nicely, but when you're going backwards, it's really tough to make it work.
I understand that.
So I think we're having a little bit of trouble hearing Andreas. It's a little garbled. Someone has said something in the chat. So try talking now, Andres. Let's see how that sounds. Still the same.
Yes, not coming across.
We'll have to ignore you and talk to Sarah. That's all.
All right. Sounds wonderful.
Yeah, you're inside, so I think it's probably is crushing the signal a little bit. So kind of to recap a little bit, the name of the company is Metal Weave Games, and that came about because Andreas was a metal worker making chainmail jewelry and things like that, and he was into SCA, is it?
Yes.
And that's kind of how he got into chainmail working. You guys began working on this project about 4 months ago, and Sarah, you had already said that you've been approached by people going, kind of like, how are you going to get this done? How are you going to do all this art if you're the sole artist? And you've completely cleared your schedule, and you could do 5 of these books is the boast you made.
I could. I mean, it would take longer to do 5, but yeah. And I mean, I still have this is kind of my most favorite thing to do. So I don't think I would never burn out. I don't ever really experience. Some artists say they get burnout. I don't really get burnout. I just need to nap, and then I'm good to go.
So,
Nice.
do you have a favorite monster or monster variation that you've already done, or that's something that you're really looking forward to do?
My favorite that I have done to date is the fast phase cat, the cheetah looking phase cat, and then the willow treant. I really like that one too.
I really like willows, so I'm looking forward to seeing what that looks like.
And those were I mean, it's hard for me to pick, but I think if I'm forced to, those would be my top 2.
Okay.
Pick your favorite child. Do it now.
Yeah, I know. Which one do you love more?
Because we're going to murder the other one. Nerdarchy does not condone the murdering of children, even if they're monsters. So also, so the book is full of variants from various monsters from the monster manual, essentially, many of which are like your owlbears, your rust monster, except for we're calling them rust mantises, the Trent, as you just said. We have displacer beasts being displaced by phase cats. So there's a lot of cool stuff in there. And the art is really amazing. It's definitely caught my attention when Ted pointed me in the direction of the Kickstarter.
Thank you.
And like we were saying, you guys, well, not you guys, but Andreas is kind of local to us. So we're like, oh, we got to reach out to this guy and talk to him a little bit. Next time we'll actually have to have you in the lair. Don't have to worry about internet connection.
Yeah, one of the things that I think is an important thing with Nerdarchy and having us actually doing this, number one, we have the goal of making it full time, but I mean we want to continue to reach out and reach those individual groups, like not that we don't want to make connections with the bigwig companies, but I think it's just as important to make connections with the smaller companies as well, and bring the projects you guys are working on to more people. Like we typically have our Saturday live chats, our weekly live chats, and we have links to all the different things that are going on. And whenever I come across something that's a Kickstarter that's related to role-playing games, I try to put that information out there and bring that to the audience, because like this is the the core that happens with with this. And if you don't get that information shared, like what's the chances that the average person is going to see it? So not everybody jumps into the 5th edition Facebook. What if you just don't get on Facebook? What if you're not super in on all the different social medias? You're going to miss out on stuff. So that's why I try to kind of take that time to make sure people are aware of what's out there.
That's awesome, and I really appreciate that too, because that was my concern too. I was like, I know a lot of gamers that are never on Facebook, and stuff like that. So it's fantastic you guys are helping us out.
Well, like I said, I jumped on it. Not only like I grabbed the link right away and marked that to go out there, and it was shared in this week's live chat and what have you. But then on top of that, I also reached out to you pretty quickly. Like I looked at the page, I'm like, all right, they're local. This is a cool project. And it was literally less than a week from when I was chatting with you on Facebook to having you guys here on the live chat. So
yeah, it was awesome. Good turnout. And I think we have like 3 days left on the Kickstarter too. So it's good that we got to like sneak it in before the Kickstarter ended.
So you guys still have your chance to jump in there and grab your copy.
Yeah, we want to push to whatever the next stretch goal is gonna wind up being. Do we have that figured out yet?
I want to say that it's print on demand stat blocks.
Oh, okay. What is? We're still having a hard time hearing you, Andreas.
All right, I'll do my best. Andreas can probably do it better than I can, but I'm an illustrator and I have a can-do attitude. So the stat blocks are kind of like the mock-up that Andreas has on the Kickstarter. So they're going to be providing the stats for the various game systems that we're supporting. I think we're up to maybe 5 now based on our stretch goals that we've met. And the print-on-demand companies, you can say, like, I want this made as a book, and then they will send you that book. I think I'm getting a thumbs up from Andreas, maybe, from his thing.
Yeah. Those who want printed versions of those stat books.
So we definitely got some of that.
Yeah, so it's basically you say I would like a printed version of like D&D or Pathfinder, Cypher or whatever, and then they will, rather than getting a PDF from us, you will be getting a card or probably a soft cover book from them.
Oh, awesome. So is it mostly then PDF at this point?
The stat blocks are, but the book itself is a hardcover book.
Okay, because
you can get it as a PDF if you want, but you can also get it as a book.
Okay, so basically the way it is you would get the PDF with the stat blocks, and then the book is like the fluff and the images.
Yeah, the book is all lore and images, and then the stat block is a separate thing you can get. So if you want to just do your own homebrew thing, you can completely, or if you want to have stats provided by us, you can do that too.
Okay, awesome. That clears up some things for me. Hey, apparently I will be probably in your neck of the woods Saturday and Sunday for there's a small event at, what is it? It is
ACCON?
Well, but that won't mean anything.
Oh.
Night Moves Cafe on Brookline.
Oh, in Brookline, Mass?
Yes.
Oh, no way. I've never gone there, but that's cool.
Yeah, we're going to be hanging in Boston, or I'll be hanging in Boston and playing some games with a bunch of nerds from the area. So I just thought I'd bring it up. So if you guys happen to be in the Massachusetts, Boston area, there is an event, and you can find it on our Facebook page and check that out. We will be hanging out. And when we became Facebook friends, I was looking at your profile. And I was like, oh, that's a coincidence because I'm going to be there next week.
Nice.
So we've kind of crossed our halfway point. So if you guys out there in the chat, if you want to sound off and do a roll call where you guys are chiming in from, you can let us know. For you guys, our guests, it's one of the things that we typically do is we everybody in the chat loves kind of sounding off of where they're tuning in from, and it gives those people who are viewing and not really paying attention to the chat to see like how far reaching this group of people winds up being.
Oh, so that's awesome.
It is pretty fun.
Yeah, and I want to just apologize everyone for the crappy internet today, or whether it's Google or just the internet in general.
This is Sprint.
Nice. Well, I think on our end we're having some issues as well. So usually it's much better than this. Oh no, maybe too many people off on a long weekend using the internet. Curse them. Go to work. Go to work, you muggles.
It's that lunch break internet down problem.
Well, we do the same time every day, which we usually do pretty well with. Hey, we got New Jersey in the house. We got Lane from Mahwah, New Jersey. You're not too far from us. We got AJ in Washington. We've got Uncle Peter in Toronto. Frigginators over in Washington. We got Wildsmith, New York. Zareth Gaming is in New Mexico. JMR, hey, what's going on, buddy? I believe you're in Australia. We also, Washington, Lincoln. We have Lincoln from Sweden. We have Brian from Georgia, Truemate from Wales. Hey, Sue, she's tuning in from Atlanta. We've got Scott in Wisconsin, Andrew in Corpus Christi. So we've got people tuning in from all over the place, which is really cool. Oh, we've got Nordic Dragon in Sweden as well. So 2 Swedens in the house today.
Nice.
Nice.
And I'm sure with the technical difficulties, we're down a little bit from our normal numbers. But we will soldier through. People can come and check it out in the replay, and it will be recorded. Just hoping we didn't miss anything from the original one that was important. But all the links, as always, guys, are in the description, so you can go check them out. You can check out Metal Weave Games. You can check out the Kickstarter. How many days did we say was left on that?
3.
3.
3 days.
So you've got plenty of time.
So go check it out. It is definitely a very very cool thing. I'm excited to take a look at it. I know the artwork that I've seen is pretty awesome.
Yeah, it strikes me as being one of those cool things that you can like put on your coffee table too, right? That is actually one of the kind of like the nice thing about the stats being divorced of it. Like you could literally just put it on your coffee table, and when your Muggle friends come over, they can look through it and not be baffled by the arcane stats that are in there.
What do all these numbers mean?
Yeah, and that was actually intentional as well. Is that it can be used for anyone can use it whether they love it or not, and that was actually an interesting byproduct of the Baby Bestiary. Actually, is that like apparently people buy it as wedding gifts for their geek friends, and it's like, oh, really?
Nice.
I had no idea. So, or like baby showers and stuff like that. So it's like, I never would have thought that. So
now you can market it that way next time. So I think by actually divorcing the stats and having them somewhere else, it actually opens it up towards people that are just interested in fantasy. They're not going to get a book with stuff in it they're not really particularly interested in. But if you are a gamer, you're going to be able to download the PDF for Pathfinder or 5e, depending on what version you go with.
Yep, exactly.
Oh, and you also have some other systems in there as well, like Cipher System. So that's really cool.
Yeah, actually, that's how I started publishing with Cipher System, with Numenera. That's where I actually started publishing and learning to publish properly. Oh, nice.
How long has that been going on?
Honestly, it started when I first started publishing, which was 4 years ago.
Okay.
So that was right when Numenera released, and they released the fan use license, and I got in all that, being one of the first 2 people to publish stuff for their, as a part of the fan works and supplement works.
Yeah, I have not actually played Numenera, but we played in the greater Cipher System.
Nice.
And I did pick up the 9th World Bestiary because, as you would gather, who doesn't want monster manuals?
That's it.
And they did a good job with the 9th World Bestiary. It's a good book.
It is.
It's a beautiful book.
So I'd like to thank Lane Martin. I just backed. When do we get to put it in our preference for the stat blocks? I imagine after the backer kits come out.
Yep, Backer Kit is our backer manager of choice. So, yeah, once Backer Kit comes out, you'll get an email, survey, get a bunch of fun questions to ask, and of course there's a truck running by. So, yeah, Backer Kit, we'll ask you a bunch of questions, collect all your important details, your social security number, your address, your credit card numbers, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah. Some DNA swab. You'll have to send that in.
Oh, and your bank account number.
That sounds like a totally different business model than publishing. So that's really cool. So I'm sorry, I'm kind of mixing up what we've talked about and between the 2 videos here. So is there anything not included in the book, Sarah, that you wanted to draw that isn't there, or is on your list? Like, I hope we hit this stretch goal so I can put this in.
Oh, that was the cockatrice for me, but we hit it, so now I'm happy. Yeah, like, I was like, no, cockatrice, no, because it didn't make it in our top 5, but it was like 6 or 7, and then we hit the stretch goal to get the up to 7. So I was like, there we go, we're good.
Now is that
Boom.
cockatrice and dragon turtle?
Yeah, cockatrice and dragon turtle were the last 2 we added because we got to 30,000. So
Yeah, the to me the dragon turtle is far more of a exciting one. There's something that's unique and interesting. So I'd love to see where those variations wind up going to.
oh, and don't worry, like if I'm like, oh, the cockatrice is like, I really wanted to do it. Dragon turtle is like not down here, it's like it's like right there.
It's up there.
So you're not going to be drawing the dragon turtles angrily.
No. Actually, I love to listen to really angry music when I draw. But I will not be angry personally.
Oh, favorite song to listen to while you're drawing angrily, or you're not drawing angrily, but the.
I do Pandora, and I switch back. So if I am doing my sketches, I listen to like really fast, like just like house music that's just robot noises, and then I usually switch to like 9 Inch Nails, Tool, Perfect Circle, that sort of thing.
Cool.
All good stuff there.
I figure since you brought it up, I'm like, well, what actually is he listening to?
Rage Against the Machine, that sort of stuff.
Now, on the previous video, we talked about how you guys came together, and that was Sarah. You were drawing monster variants already, and placing them in placed one in Facebook. Andreas was stalking you apparently. No, he was in the group. He saw what you saw your work, and is like, can we make this a thing? And it was kind of like history from there.
Yeah, basically. And I started doing it because I wanted to work more in creatures, and I've been an artist for 10 years, and so I was like, but my true passion is here. But I was working at a medical company at the time, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go for it. I'm just gonna make some monsters, and I threw it on Facebook, and that's kind of how it happened.
So was the variant Boulay? Was that what you had put up, and that what you came across? Because I recall seeing that, and I was like, all right, this is something that's certainly cool. Now, I come across a lot of stuff, and like I didn't have the wherewithal to be like, oh, well, let's attach a name to this. But I definitely recall seeing that and saying, that's a really neat idea. I'm one that I like to do variations of things, and very rarely in my games do I just take whatever's in the book and say this is what I'm going to use, because I'm used to gaming with veterans who have seen it all, done it all. So I have to, okay, well, what can I make? What can I twist? What can I bend in a direction that they haven't seen?
And that's awesome, because that's what this is going to be, because the stats will reflect the changes in the environment where these animals live. So it's just like, you're going to throw an owlbear at them, but it's not your it's not your run-of-the-mill owlbear or something like that. So they'll have more distinctive teeth into.
I like the panda bear owlbear. I think that's pretty neat.
Isn't it going to go the other way though? Isn't the variants going to be sinking their teeth into them?
or beaks or talons or claws, yeah.
I believe, I don't know if it was this chat or the last chat, but someone had asked about any of the owlbears could fly if they had wings.
All of our owlbears have like tiny wings, but not like on their back. Like
that's an interesting point though, like in terms of like the gliding basilisk and stuff like that. Or the flying basilisk. We could definitely approach that. I mean, we have our owlbears already slated out, but that's definitely something that we could look at expanding in like our next version and stuff like that. Flying owlbears.
Totally.
They're like flying squirrels, only meaner.
And 10 times as large.
Man,
yes, just look up. Just can imagine looking up and seeing like 30 owlbears in the trees going, no!
So
instead of dark mantles, they're owlbears.
Truemate over in Wales, yes, getting to the flying owlbear mount. He was probably the one that asked originally as well.
Yeah.
We did circle back.
Who doesn't want a celestial owlbear? Because it's as close as we used to be able to get to a flying owlbear.
Oh, you know what? We had
or the winged template.
There was a ton of discussion the other day. I forget which chat it was, but about koala bears and how nasty they are and how mean they are. You guys need to do some koala bear monsters.
That would be fantastic.
The koala owlbear variant.
Angry marsupials.
Drop bears. You can make actual drop bears.
Angry
I don't think-
Marsupials edition.
I don't think anyone has statted the drop bear yet, so. And I believe that's a
Drop bear.
It could be our time.
It's yeah, you guys got to do the drop bears. I believe it's something they mess with tourists about over in Australia. Is tell them to watch out for drop bears. It's not really a thing, but although I think koala bears are secretly drop bears.
It looks so cute and cuddly.
Cody, yes, drop bears get a bonus attack against tourists.
Tourists.
Frigginator, cute till they rip your face off. Absolutely.
Gosh.
Oh, intelligence of 2.
All the more reason to be afraid.
So we talked about your background a little bit, Andreas. Sarah, what about you? Is this your first project that you're working on? Do you have other things going on?
With Metal Weave, this is the first book I've made with them. But before that, I've kind of been all over because I graduated from college in 2006, and that was right before the economy just like died. So I've had to I've worked in travel and video games and medical, and I've been all over. I've always been a gamer though, so I've always wanted to do this sort of work. And then a plan was made a few years ago. Savings were collected, and I was like, I'm gonna try and hack it as a freelance illustrator. And I've had a couple other jobs, but this is the one I'm probably most excited about.
Cool. Excellent. And what is not to love about drawing monsters?
Exactly. It's the best.
So what artists are you following, or do you take inspiration from, if any?
Probably so I bought all of the 3.5 monster manuals in high school, so Todd Lockwood has always been near and dear to my heart. And then Terrell Whitlatch, I've actually taken her class and talked to her a bunch of times. She's great. She did all the concept art for Star Wars. And James Gurney, because he did Dinotopia and everything. And I could probably keep going, but those are probably my big 3.
Gotta love Dinotopia.
Yeah.
Oh, the monster manuals you just referenced are kind of off to Dave's left over there. We've been, as I said earlier, I dig monster manuals. Yeah, right there.
That's how I found Dungeons and Dragons. I went into Borders books. I don't even know if they still exist.
I don't think so.
Not really.
And saw it, and I was like, "What is this thing? It's got monsters and monsters and monsters." And then eventually, I ended up playing later. But
And numbers and numbers and numbers.
It was amazing.
You got to take the good with the bad.
Yep.
But I think there's a lot of gamers that kind of came into the hobby that way. The art's important. Matter of fact, our friend Brian Stillman is actually doing a documentary right now on the art of D&D. And he kind of talked about that a bit, where how many different people he's talked to, where the way they got into the hobby was just seeing the monster manual and a book of monsters, and from that it's like, oh well, what can you do with this? And next thing you know, you're rolling funny shaped dice.
True.
That's how it all starts.
It's like your gateway book. It really is.
This is a gateway book.
I don't even recall. It's been so long since I got started in D&D. I was doing it since I was a young teenager, and it's just all right. I started with advanced second edition. I know Dave started in first edition. So for me, it's been this revolving thing for more than 20 years.
Nice.
Yeah, so talk about kind of geeking out on artists and stuff. We did a interview a while back with Monty Cook, and we had Sean K. Reynolds hand us off to Monty Cook, or Monty Cook off to us as the handler. I was like, totally fanboy moment.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that's always nice. And awesome at the same time.
I'll mute it. Is meeting the different people in here. One of the other artists we've had on here is Crystal Sully. I don't know if either of you guys are familiar with her work, but she does some really fantastic stuff, especially with monsters and dragons. I think we spent like an hour just screen sharing like our portfolio.
I know Crystal. She's awesome. She was one of the ones that has kind of helped me on this little journey. Yeah, she's amazing. I got in touch with her and I was like, I like your work, and can you give me some pointers? And she's been kind of helping me on the way. So yeah, Crystal Sully is the best.
Yeah, if you want to check out, I follow her on Facebook, and if you want to check out like awesome art and donkeys, that's the place to go.
Yeah, they have the mini donkeys now.
So whenever there's a donkey in my feed, I know it's usually Crystal, because wherever they're living now, there's donkeys.
I can offer monsters and greyhounds. So I have a greyhound. So if you'd like to follow mine, you're gonna get monsters and greyhounds.
Nice.
Her will be mini donkeys.
So you mentioned, Sarah, you mentioned video games. Have you done artwork on video games as well?
Yeah. They're little, like they were little video games. There was a tiny company in Framingham that's no longer there now called Imagine Engine, and probably the biggest video game I did was like Wreck-It Ralph. I was one of the main artists on that one. So they did like video games for like like kid video games for like Pixar and DreamWorks and stuff like that. But the Wreck-It Ralph video game I did was fun. I'd made the models for Ralph and Felix for the DS and the 3DS.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was cool.
That is cool. You're landing some big gigs.
Thank you. Yeah, it was fun. It was unfortunate they went out of business a couple of years back.
Oh, don't.
Yeah.
We could have left it on a high note.
Well, no, that's why I moved to medical, and then that's why I moved here. So it was part of the process. It's all good.
Yeah, that's how you got to making monsters.
Exactly.
Which is what you said you want to be doing anyway.
Exactly. So, well, I cannot complain.
So, are you producing all the inspiration for the monsters and kind of like drawing them, and then other people are putting the fluff to them, or some of the process you being handed? Well, here's a monster, here's some fluff, and draw this. What does the process look like for you guys?
It's kind of like a joint process. So
it's by committee.
Yeah, it's by committee. It's the best way to do it. Like sometimes I'll come up with ideas, and sometimes Andreas will come up with ideas, and then we'll bounce it back and forth, and then drawings happen.
Well, you guys have got quite a team here. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people. It looks like that's a part of this book.
Yeah, there's a lot of writing that needs to be done, and trying to keep it as diverse as possible is usually the best way of going about it. And it also accelerates the project timeline too. In addition, just how these projects are done, like the Baby Bestiary, because they're so modular, it makes it easier to manage in terms of like, oh, you have owlbears, you have chimeras, here is the structure of it, get back to me in a month, with all your assignments. And it's easy. I can just plug and play essentially each one into the layout document. And it makes it really easy for editing because it's all modular. You don't have to look for circular references. They don't have to check page 215 to be sure they referenced Emperor in the right way. So it makes the development, since it's systemless and since it's modular in that sense, it makes it very easy to hand off to numerous writers. Like the Baby Bestiary had 17 or 24. It had a lot of writers. And it was easy to manage in that manner.
So from the conceptual point of these monster variants, are we looking at like mostly or all environmental, or are we talking about completely like, oh well, I'm going to take this as well, this is like a royal or king such and such, this is a bigger or smaller? What do we have as far as our actual links to variety?
In terms of beast variety, or like the variants,
right?
So a lot of it is environmental variants, but we're kind of stretching that as well in terms of like Griffin, like what kind of crazy well, first thing we're thinking about is the difference between a Griffin and a Hippogriff, and if there's are they variants of each other, or what line do we draw between the griffin and the hippogriff? Because one's got horse legs and the other one has a lion.
Right.
Lion. And so, like, are those variants of each other? But if we draw the line as like the hippogriff as the purest form of variant of that, and then we do the hippogriff as the I think I said that right. The hippogriff as kind of like the lesser, more tainted. So then we could do like common birds and the horse, whereas the griffin itself will be more majestic, maybe like a dragon variant, or in terms of more what's it called? Apex predators, such as like the golden eagle, or peregrine falcon, and more pure in terms of apex predatorship.
So you've got some things where you have an environmental situation, whereas other ones you have this is a combination of creatures. So you rather than say, okay, well, rather than take this and go environmental, you can say, all right, well, what if I combine this with a different type of monster?
Yeah, so a good one that just came to mind is the hippocampus. We're thinking of, well, this is still up for streamlining, but if like the lion shark, or not the lion shark, sorry, the lionfish, like a lionfish variant of the hippocampus, like that would be completely different with spines, where the orange and white combination, totally different features.
All right, so we're kind of losing you a little bit there. I know. So the garbled version that I heard is like, that would produce a completely different type of creature. It would be more savage. You talked about it having spines down the back. Looks very different from that typical creature that would be the hippocampus, which was I believe, if I have it correct, you've got the fish tail and then the front part of a horse.
Yeah.
So changing that out to a more savage creature definitely takes that to something that you don't want to mess with.
Correct. Exactly.
So I just wanted to do a quick stroll through, of the Kickstarter, so people can see what we kind of showed off on the previous video, and also see the different people that are involved. BJ Hennessy, she's pretty well known to me. Like I was saying earlier, we almost had her on a live chat, but we got our wires crossed, so we were stuck with one of her partners instead, the awesome Stefan Rowe, which worked out great. So we are right around our hour mark. Unfortunately, we lost probably, I don't know quite how much time, but you guys, Andreas, you're local to us. Sorry, in the big picture scheme of things, you're actually not that far either, in this global economy world. But we want to thank you guys for coming on. We're gonna wrap things up, guys. If you happen to be in Boston or in the Boston area or want to hang out, I will be there. You can check our Facebook page for the link to that. We actually have an event. I'll be sharing it out. Just sent it out in an email not that long ago. It is definitely places. Check out the Kickstarter. Looks awesome. I'm going to definitely grab my copy of that before it ends. But time is running out, so don't wait too long. Hopefully we can bang out some more of those stretch goals. And hey, if it so happens that you can't back the Kickstarter, share it out on Facebook into the different Facebook groups that are for any of those systems: Cypher System, OSR, Pathfinder, 5th Edition Dungeons and Dragons. I'm sure the people in there would greatly appreciate seeing this product. It looks like it's going to be a lot of fun, and I think it'll look great on my coffee table. So, with that, until next time, guys, stay nerdy.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, thank you.